Middle Nile right here. This Middle Nile right here would have been
So I'm trying to figure
out. When they talk about Middle Nile culture, they talking about Nilo-Saharan culture.
Yeah.
so
But then you had, but then too, like during the Greco-Roman periods too, you had a lot of people that was in Egypt that migrated to Aswan too and became.
to merge them together.
No, you're throwing the crowd off. I'm gonna say this again. When those people migrated out of Sahara, there weren't any borders, and they practiced basically the same culture. I'm gonna say it.
What time period was this again? What time period was this again?
5,500 BCE.
You didn't went back before Egypt. You didn't went back.
No, you pre-dynastic
early Papa don't come from motherfucking, what you say, Palestine and all that shit. Did they come from in Africa? They come from Africa. So even if our early population 90,000 years ago was from Southern Europe in the Levant, they went to an area with niggas and they mixed and matched. And I'm gonna stop right there and let y'all figure out the rest of this crazy ass, dumbass conversation.
How you gonna say these people do not have a phenotype that resembles the rest of Africa? Why are we doing that? We're looking at the politics of today, because when we take a political snapshot and say Morocco, we look at the mostly Arabians and say, oh, those are Moroccans. I sat next to Moroccans that looked just like me. And I was like, black Moroccans. Now, they were always there. They didn't import. He was always a Moroccan, black just like me. So now when you say North African, what do you mean by that? Because there are different ethnotypes there.
Prove that.
I personal experience brought into Africa, unquote, were black. The conversation of the nuance with this conversation is, first of all, we're disputing whether Egyptians, quote unquote, were black. Now, that in itself is a relative term and a speculative term. Why? The whole idea that the civilization of Egypt was brought into Africa is the whole basis of questioning the physical character, the phenotype of these people. Now, when I'm dissecting the discussion, it doesn't make sense to look at these people outside of the context of being Eastern African.
Because
comprehension on who part though?
No, I'm saying for
I'm starting to think you ain't comprehending, yo.
For the conversation, Cedric is assuming that happy is a symbol of fertility, period, point blank. But the whole article that Wiki is explaining, right where we were reading from, it's fertility as it regards to the flooding of the Nile. It actually said that the flooding coming is called the arrival of happy. Good gracious. It's not talking about fertilizing an egg, sperm fertilizing an egg sperm fertilizing an egg, the flood of fertility and stuff like that.
What arrives then? The flooding or fertility? Fertility is a result of, but doesn't arrive.
Both. Fertility is.
You want to school me in English now too?
No, listen. Both arrive because fertility of the land does not happen unless the flood. So it comes together.
So what happy represents?
That's not. Wait. That's not. Wait. This is not rocket science.
No, right? But what happy represents? The flooding or fertility? What is a symbol of? The flooding or a symbol of fertility?
It says he's a symbolized fertility. But what I'm saying is that fertility is not just this end all be all fertility in context.
But that's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I never said.
No, but that's what you're saying. That's what you just said. But this is what you're saying.
No,
it doesn't say that.
It's actually not, man.
The mainland does end up with the two.
Hey, you know what else we are? We are West.
The mainland, you know.
We are West Sudanic Creoles. That's what I consider us.
There you go. Yes. All West
from all the way from Canada.
By any metric you want, by any metric. First of all, we know for a fact that the greatest genetic diversity exists on the continent of Africa. So pretty much any genetic diversity that you see outside of Africa pretty much came from Africa. So to say that something came into Africa is suspect.
Won't say it. They say they straight out rivals, had the same amount of that after more research. And it's just crazy. I fight for that though, Chef. I swear I do, yo. And now it just seems to me that now after more research, more Egyptologists coming out. Now they don't even say, watch this. I'm gonna update y'all. It's the update package. You will not find a modern day Egyptologist or Nubianologist. Now they got Nubianologists. They will not say that what they're miscalling Nubia, you know what I'm saying, is a vassal state to Egypt. They won't say it. They say they straight out rivals, had the same amount of bread, had the same amount of power. They say that. They say it straight out, right? And they said it's a hell of an interrelationship they had. Sean will come in here and tell you that the fucking army was Nubian. So, which ain't Nubian, which is confusing because those darker tribes down there, some had allegiance to Egypt and considered themselves Egyptians, and some didn't have allegiance to that. They might have had allegiance to like Kerma or something like that, or whatever you want to say. There are definitely different tribes down there that they clumped together. Man, that's racism, man. We can't. We don't do that to them. We say Alexander, the Macedonian. He's a Macedonian. You don't say he's a Greek.
Mm-hmm.
You give him his due. Now, people who don't study think Alexandria is a Greek. You're like, huh? I hate these niggas. Imagine that. So white people came and figured out Egypt for everybody. Okay, they made it real neat. What I understand about Egypt, you could have a Nubian ruler. Of course, nobody is called Nubian. They gave them that fucking name. Yes, I'm gonna tell you a name. They wasn't even Nubians, and they classified everybody to themselves Nubians, no matter what clan and tribe. They was different clans with different standards, the whole nine y'all, but they made all them Nubians. Let's not forget that part. Let's not forget the part about now we're going to name it this and name it that and put that here and put that there. You got Nubian rulers, you got Libyan rulers, you got Asiatic rulers, and all the niggas how about they ruling all of Egypt, right? Okay, so now you got about 6, 7 kings ruling at one time. Get that straight. And then certain time periods, one king would unify the whole thing. So here's the question. Europeans come in and make it real neat and even, yo. They make the whole the situation never was that. Destruction of black civilization, yo, give you that work for real. He explains how, yo,
blue black
Egyptian and be darker.
We got these blue black people.
Nah, they don't gotta be blue black. They don't gotta be that. They just be dark brown.
That's what they're described. No, brother, I ain't being insulting. That's what they're described as. Blue black people.
Everybody don't gotta be blue black though. They just can be, and Egypt is there too, so they gonna be just as they lived in that area. It's gonna be the same colors as Jews down the street.
So we got.
You do get that though, right?
Arabs.
Today,
brother. Why you keep talking about today?
Arabs. Arab looking.
Answer me a question. How did the Arabs
No, come on, Cedric.
How did the Arabs end up?
He just bodied himself.
Take a snap.
I think that a population was moved out. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not. Wait, I'm saying. Wait. When I make my reference, the exact reference that I'm making, if you look at South Africa today, take a snapshot at the political structure and the social structure. And you look at the ruling class and you look at this thing and you look at it and you say, that's how it's always been. And you look at Egypt today and you say, that's how it's always been. Is that a way to evaluate Egypt? The history is closer.
Maybe you're not. Maybe
the history is closer. The history is closer. We got a little bit more details, but we understand the same exact principles taking place.
Okay,
we got
listen,
an invading class that is a ruling class.
So explain.
That becomes the face of the nation.
So you would have
now
to
we're
explain.
dealing with the Arab. We're dealing with the Arab Republic of Egypt. Doesn't that say something?
No.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So what I want everybody to know. Where did the boundaries come from? So this is North Africa according to them. You got the Sahara. You got Morocco. You got Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is in North Africa. So I want y'all to know it's really an electric fence there. So to hell with Mauritania, to hell with Mali, Niger, Chad, and Sudan. So the question is, who made that North Africa like that with those boundaries like that? You got to really think about what's going on in front of your face. And so you thinking, okay, North Africa, those populations in North Africa, they not sub-Saharan Africa. So sub-Saharan Africa is supposed to be Niger, Chad, Sudan, Mali, and Mauritania, based off what they teach us in school, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what does the map say? It's a political map. So what's the politics behind making it that? Why would they make that? Why would they divvy up Africa? They name it certain things. What's the game in that? I'm going to explain the game when I get home in a minute. Okay, so what I want everybody to know, where did the boundaries come from? So this is North Africa according to them. You got the Sahara. You got Morocco. You got Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is in North Africa. So I want y'all to know it's really an electric fence there. So to hell with Mauritania, to hell with Mali, Niger, Chad, and Sudan. So the question is, who made that North Africa like that with those boundaries like that? You got to really think about what's going on in front of your face. And so you thinking, okay, North Africa, those populations in North Africa, they not sub-Saharan Africa. So sub-Saharan Africa is supposed to be Niger, Chad, Sudan, Mali, and Mauritania, based off what they teach us in school, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what does the map say? It's a political map. So what's the politics behind making it that? Why would they make that? Why would they divvy up Africa? They name it certain things. What's the game in that? I'm going to explain the game when I get home in a minute.
Right. If you took an ancient Egyptian and put him or her into Alabama in 1954, they would have had to sit at the back of the bus. So if you're asking, were the ancient Egyptians black? My answer is yes.
Odds, if you're doing this math right, they only need 13
or whatever.
Damn, how you?
Isn't this? And we can work that out. Cool. You come in and you wrong, you lying, you didn't. Please, you're going to get it how you supposed to get it.
We're still missing 9, right? If I'm doing my math right, 9 or whatever.
Damn, how you adding?
Hold on.
He talk about his missing 9 STRs. If you're doing this math right, they only need 13 and they got 8.
Hold on, bro. Hey, damn, I don't need you to talk, bro.
So look, so this is when it's gonna start getting salty. Watch this.
Because it's only missing 5.
No. Listen.
He added 3 more himself.
Listen to what I'm trying to say. Listen. They only got, hold on, listen. They got 8. Hold on, listen. Pop Affiliator uses 17. They have 13 out of 8. 13 out of 8. Now, I'm sorry, they use 8 out of 13. Pop Affiliator goes up to 7.
Man, this is being messed up.
17 out of 8. Now, you do the math. 8 plus what equals up to 17? We're not talking about I'm not talking about the 13. I'm talking about the totalness is up to 17. And within that 17.
What is he talking? He don't know what he's talking about.
Answer all the questions with DNA. Everyone on this presentation, I'm sure, is laughing because we've all realized that that's never going to happen. But it bears mentioning why that's not going to happen. It's because DNA is really hard to study in Africa. It's ancient DNA hard mode.
Oh. This is a bioarchaeologist telling us that DNA is really hard to study in Africa. Like, oh, well, you know, they not black like us African Americans. Like, we got copyrights on what blackness is. I even, Brother Bobby or Garfield could tell you who this is or isn't if I don't put the text on the screen. I'm saying, who is that? Oh no, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring you out in the deep waters. I'm gonna say, who is that? Oh no, you know I can't read it. Oh no, you know I can't read it. But why is you talking about it? What other subjects do y'all let people who can't read it talk professional about it? Let's say you was going to get your
incredible into Africa, and therefore spectacularly since antiquity. Okay, so this was a space in which stretches literally from the Middle East to Africa, right into Africa.
So
it stretches from the Middle East into the Sudan.
So now listen to her take, and this is Ujjala.
Has, and it does now. In fact, and that's an interesting thing about the word Egypt. Sometimes people say, oh, you shouldn't be referring to it in the ancient sense as Egypt because it wasn't called Egypt then. It's like, that's fair, but the land mass itself hasn't changed spectacularly since antiquity. Okay, so this was a space in which stretches literally from the Middle East to Africa, right into Africa, and therefore also has a population that reflects that plurality of cultures. It always has, and it does now. So there are a lot of incredible Egyptians that I meet when I'm on digs in Egypt, in southern Egypt, and they proudly refer to themselves as Nubian. They are people with black-colored skin who are very proud to identify as Nubians. Nubians are an ethnic group that's always been living in Egypt and between Egypt and the Sudan of a darker-colored skin. So you have an Egypt that has always looked this way. Why would Egyptians distinguish skin color?
They had derogatory terms for black people that just meant slave.
No, they had a derogatory term for the people that they enslaved that happened to be black.
No, yo, you tripping. They had derogatory terms for black people that just meant slave.
No, they had a derogatory term for the people that they enslaved that happened to be black.
No, yo, you tripping.
That anywhere. It said they were going to the people to the south of them. So the people.
Who was the people to the south of them?
Listen, to the people to the south of them was coincidentally black. That anywhere. It said they were going to the people to the south of them. So the people.
Who was the people to the south of them?
Listen, to the people to the south of them was coincidentally black.
No.
I agree with Ankh. He ain't crazy. I agree with everything Ankh is saying makes sense.
No,
the Asians make them only sub-Saharan. They're their own people.
Nah, they ain't their own people. They don't even know they fucking Asiatics. How about that, yo? For a long time, and then you see cultures, and then when they start migrating, you got people that's there for 20,000, and they mix it in. But they not. You know what I'm saying? They get amalgamated in. They not overtaking the population what they want to lead you to believe. They not. They just not enough of them to do that. Now on that now, if we go to Egypt right now, yo, okay, you can look at DNA markers, gonna say them people was there, yada yada yada. But the farther you go down to now, you get the cartoon and all that, man, you start finding niggas looking like you. Nubia, you can't discount Nubia. Remember, Egyptian culture is coming out of Nubia. I just read it the other day that these cultures was mummification coming from the Sahara. You feel me? So by the time you start talking about Egypt, which everybody loves to talk about, you know what I'm saying? The building state, everything is already thoroughly entrenched in culture. So whether you're Asiatic, you're practicing African culture. That's the reality of it. Whether you black, Mexican, you practicing African American, European culture, because that's
the Asians make them only sub-Saharan. They're their own people.
Nah, they ain't their own people. They don't even know they fucking Asiatics. How about that, yo? For a long time, and then you see cultures, and then when they start migrating, you got people that's there for 20,000, and they mix it in. But they not. You know what I'm saying? They get amalgamated in. They not overtaking the population what they want to lead you to believe. They not. They just not enough of them to do that. Now on that now, if we go to Egypt right now, yo, okay, you can look at DNA markers, gonna say them people was there, yada 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 yada. But the farther you go down to now, you get the cartoon and all that, man, you start finding niggas looking like you. Nubia, you can't discount Nubia. Remember, Egyptian culture is coming out of Nubia. I just read it the other day that these cultures was mummification coming from the Sahara. You feel me? So by the time you start talking about Egypt, which everybody loves to talk about, you know what I'm saying? The building state, everything is already thoroughly entrenched in culture. So whether you're Asiatic, you're practicing African culture. That's the reality of it. Whether you black, Mexican, you practicing African American, European culture, because that's
yeah, man. We appreciate
your
strong man tonight. We appreciate it.
Huh?
That you're making.
Yeah, man. We appreciate your strong man tonight. We appreciate it.
Huh? I am. Hold on.
We appreciate your strong man behavior tonight. We appreciate it.
That's a straw man. So you don't know that Egypt was populated by people from Sahara? That's straw man.
Now I get it. Yeah, man. We appreciate your strong man tonight. We appreciate it.
Huh? I am.
That you're making.
Yeah, man. We appreciate your.
I'm trying
We
to show you.
appreciate your strong man
around
tonight, sir.
niggas.
We appreciate it.
Huh? I am. Hold
Yeah,
on.
we appreciate your strong man behavior tonight. We appreciate it.
That's a straw man. So you don't know that Egypt was populated by people from Sahara? That's straw man.
Oh, now I get it.
Let's make them like that. All right. So we had 10,000. We in the Sahara. All right. We got Negroids in the Sahara. I don't know how y'all want to make it. Make them not this, make them like that. Right. The shit is a real complex issue here. All right. What I want everybody to focus on. You can't run in Africa and throw all the niggas out. You can't even throw niggas out of America. You can't take away the Negro element that helped build America, let alone trying to make it some Asiatic experience. As a matter of fact,
I said genetically. I said, well, the claim that African Americans have absolutely no connection to ancient Egypt. I said, what by what means? Culturally, genetically, or what layer are we talking? So somebody said genetically. I said, well, that one is not true because genetically, I can use myself as the example. I do share an ancestor with Ramses III.
I think over 70% of African Americans share an ancestor with Ramses III.
So if that's the case, then we can't say that African Americans are not genetically related to ancient Egyptians.
The wording.
We just got to be honest with that.
You got your wordings right there.
Huh?
Yeah, he got y'all if y'all mean it that in that sense.
Yeah, and them drugs.
Yeah, like, I don't.
Is the Berbers African?
I'm hearing Ankh right now, and I'm going, huh? He said what? No, but how? That don't make no sense. The Egyptians said that they come from the south. The south is Africa. If the Egyptians said that, I learned this from the squad, okay? I'm repeating what I learned from the squad. The Egyptians said themselves, the Ramesh said themselves, they came from the south. The south could only be further in Africa.
yeah, the Berbers are African. Yeah, you can Roman real quick. Right here. There you go. It say Greek. It say classical Greek and Roman writers refer to all of Sudanic and sub-Saharan Africa as, there you go. What's that? Ethiopica. While the term Africa originally referred only to the Maghreb and the region on the northwestern coast of the continent. Most Ethiopians in the Roman Empire likely came from East Africa through Egypt and Nubia, but new evidence has also highlighted the role of trade and military interaction between West Africa and the Roman Empire. Just want to put that in the ad for y'all.
And by the way, to the
and I just go ahead and so now stuck out like he got all the pieces when the scientific article say, no, we don't got all the pieces. No, we don't know. Like UNESCO clearly says it's a home. So now it's a homegrown indigenous culture, but the motherfuckers in Africa didn't participate in that homegrown. Like, you know what? I'm a chill. I'm a chill because I can't get it here, yo. Like I just can't.
That's his research. I'm not making that claim.
Okay.
Not me. Like, so are y'all familiar with the Nubian trade to India?
Yeah.
The elephant trade.
Yeah.
How far is that? It's a long fucking way, ain't it? Think about that. Let's look at the map. So if y'all familiar with the elephant trade, all the way down,
nobody is
on directors, right? Walked from Africa all the way up into Europe, all the way to North America is a longer distance than going down to South Africa and going down to West Africa. Like they walk, yo, they built for walking. That's all I was saying, dog. That don't mean you get my point though, right? Yeah. Right? They got that walking. We know Homo sapiens sapiens is made to walk. That's what they do. They walk. They walk. They walkers. So I'm saying once I realized that Musa walked all the way to Mecca, who am I to say, right? Who am I to say that it's not possible for other niggas in West Africa to walk up there, like that's like I can't say it. Maybe y'all can look yourself in the mirror and say it with a straight face. Now we might hold on, let me make my point. Now we might not have the evidence that we're looking for right now, but that's cool. I'm not saying that, but we do know that Musa walked. We do know this for sure. And he walked to Egypt. He did all that. So if that nigga can walk to Egypt, so y'all saying that the Arabs told him about Egypt? Just say, I want to hear you say it. It comes from the Blue Nile. Blue Nile and the White Nile. And I forget the others, like 3 different tributaries that actually feed into the Nile. This is where the culture come from, Uganda.
What time period?
Man, period. Right? Libation, God. Look at where the root word of where God really come from. It come from pouring libation. Where's the oldest form of pouring libation? On the fucking Nile. So I'm telling you that sun, libation, burn they dead, and mounds and all that shit is some black people shit. Borrowed by other people that migrate in there. So anybody come into the Nile, right, are practicing an African culture. I don't give a fuck what you look like. They want to play the look like game. Okay, nigga, but they still practicing African culture. The same way we practice trappings of European culture. Okay, evidence. It don't matter.
How did
you eat out of African bowls? Because you eating out of African bowls.
Okay, yo,
I'm
watching a Chinese TV right now. What does that mean? Does it mean I'm motherfucking I'm Asian?
It mean they shipped it. They mean Blue Nile, Victoria, Katana. How do I know? Because I'm following toolless images. And as you go down there, you bring your tools with you. That's why I always start people out like 90,000, harpoon culture and all that shit, katana and all that, because I'm showing you how these same tools, these same potteries is found in the fucking Nile. Who brought them there? It wasn't the Asiatics. They got different types of pottery. Why the fuck do they got their pottery there if they the base culture? No, you get black Negro culture and you got other people using their shit, using their culture. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I set the stage so I would never lose this motherfucking argument. I don't give a fuck if you got DNA evidence. It don't matter.
How did DNA
African bowls? Because you
ain't nothing but another minute left.
In Gozi said that Soa Kittle wasn't in agreement with the results of the Amana mummies, but in Shamaka Kittle's latest work, Ancient Egyptian Genomes from Northern Egypt Further Discussion, he referenced the Amana mummies, and I quote, "The results that are likely reliable are from studies that analyze short tandem repeats from Amana royal mummies."
Get your pickle chin out, boy.
I ever seen one.
I don't like that shit.
Up to me in my motherfucking face, because I was with.
Fuck, I mean, 8 pairs out of 13. You know what the fuck I'm saying?
Man, I guarantee you wouldn't have rambled like that up to me in my motherfucking face, because I was with you in Atlanta after you ran off your mouth like this to Minister Inky, but when you show up in Atlanta, you got your glasses on looking like Urkel, talking about, yes, sir, Mr. Inky. So I knew you wasn't about it when that happened, no matter where you from. I was with you. I'm like, how you cussing out Inky like talking about his everything on Sarnetta? We pop up in Atlanta. You got your 4 eyes on looking like, oh, yes, sir, Mr. Inky. Now, am I sneak dissing?
From Hawaii study. Methodology, data, and results have been peer-reviewed for damn near 10 years now and have not been invalidated. This is the chart from Hawaii study. Those letters represent specific regions on the specific chromosomes that we all have, based on the mutations. You done fucked up, you know that, don't you? The methodology, data, and results have been peer-reviewed for damn near 10 years now and have not been invalidated. This is the chart from Hawaii study. Those letters represent specific regions on the specific chromosomes that we all have. Based on the mutations associated with those regions, one can determine the geographic population affinity of a sample. All DNA tribes did is run the values through population software to establish geographic areas the Amana mummies have affinities with. The only people downplaying the 8 STRs is Arab centrics. You will not find a source in a scientific journal outside of them saying the DNA tribe study was inadequate. The FBI uses 13 STRs to establish the identification of a dead body, but 8 STRs can establish population. And Gozi claimed that was before.
These worthless dudes, Tom. They ain't shit but detractors, and Gozi is an Arabized Negro who come on YouTube every day to prove Egyptians wasn't black. He ain't got no place over here. Get up out of here.
That's factual.
Inky wasn't no bench. Inky was solid, nigga. I'm saying that, and then I was with you. You was the one. You wasn't no bitch. You just said Inky was a bitch. I didn't say you was a bitch. I said you put on your motherfucking Urkel glasses, your Mr. Four Eyes, and didn't say no tough talk. Not the whole time. And I was there with you. Like, why would I'm ready to be tough. At least I'm there with you. You there like a straight noodle. Come in my fucking chat talking that shit. Go build a platform and shut the fuck up.
Now, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, all of North Africa is considered part of the Arab world. Now,
thank you very much.
Why is it so important to us, and why are we fighting it here now?
And I'm asking you the
I don't give a damn what it. I don't give a damn for what it was.
I'm asking you the same question. Why are we going out of our way to make Egypt something other than African and black?
And I would say that skin map. I would say that skin map is not to be taken verbatim. It got ranges. You got you got to look at the ranges.
You said it was just pseudo. You was good to that last spot.
To say that a civilization in Africa is only established by entities, by humans that came from outside of Africa is completely pseudo, based on this premise. The fact that got pushed out.
That got pushed out on.
Nobody want to stand on it.
Right. Nah, they them same niggas. Them niggas, them light skinned niggas you see, them the children of them Somali niggas that went over there. Yeah, but you got some brothers that look like they look like they straight out of East Africa.
There you go. So now you want to tell me that an Egyptian was to represent the East Africa?
Ducking that Chevy Impala, ducking that Crown Vic, nigga, ducking that Dodge Charger, ducking that Dodge Charger, ducking police departments, burglar Bordeaux, nigga, so they can't bombard us, ducking that paddy wagon. Under they nose, I'm cashing. I get that guap and smash it. Backstreet straight smashing. Ducking that Ford Taurus. Ducking that Chevy Impala. Ducking that Crown Vic, nigga. Ducking that Dodge Charger. Ducking that Ford Taurus. Ducking that Chevy Impala. Ducking that Crown Vic, nigga. Ducking that Dodge Charger. Got locked up, was on my ass, nigga. Got out and shot past, nigga. He banging, it's on his flag, nigga. Got a lot of love for mad niggas. Hating, you down bad, nigga. Throwing salt, you talk jazz, nigga. I walk on the stage, they playing the wave. Give me my title, but this is not wrestling. Chopper made in China, but the Glock Western. 2 girls, and they bisexual. Not a disco, that's my necklace. Like damn, when you gon' stop? Ducking that Ford Taurus, ducking that Chevy Impala, ducking that Crown Vic, nigga, ducking that Dodge Charger, ducking that Ford Taurus, ducking that Chevy Impala, ducking that Crown Vic, nigga, ducking that Dodge Charger. Ducking that Ford Taurus, ducking that Chevy Impala, ducking that Crown Vic, nigga, ducking that Dodge Charger.